The situation in the world is currently getting worse. From Russia's war with Ukraine to a military attack between Israel and Palestine, the deadly earthquake in Herat, Afghanistan, and the increase in the price of world consumables. In early October 2023, a war broke out between Israel and Hamas, the militant Islamist group that has been in control of Gaza since 2006. Hamas fighters fired rockets at Israel and attacked southern Israeli towns and cities across the border of the Gaza Strip, killing and wounding hundreds of soldiers and civilians and taking dozens of hostages. He was surprised, although this country has quickly started a deadly retaliatory operation. One day after the October 7th attack, the Israeli cabinet officially declared war against Hamas. And after that, the order of the Minister of Defense and the Israeli Defense Force was issued to completely encircle Gaza. According to the Ministry of Health of Israel, the number of Israelis killed has reached at least 900 people and 2,600 wounded in Gaza. The authorities said that more than 800 Palestinians were killed and 4,000 others were injured. Hamas fighters fired more than 5,000 rockets from the Gaza Strip towards Israel on Saturday, killing more than 900 people and injuring several others. Air raid bells have been ringing across the country, raising the possibility of a new round of war. Israel's heavy war has declared full occupation of Gaza with a complete blockade of the Gaza Strip, as Palestinians prepare for another good life. Hamas rockets to Escalon after warning residents to evacuate the city. Reports of rockets fired from Lebanon to northern Israel were published. Heavy machine gun fire was observed by the Israeli army in Kafr Aza in southern Israel. More than 250 Israelis were killed at the Supernova Music Festival near the Gaza border, when militants opened fire on the crowd. Hamas fighters captured more than 100 hostages, including women, children, and elderly people, who apparently took them to Gaza as prisoners. At least 11 American citizens are among the dead, while an unknown number of Americans are missing. Americans may be among the hostages, while more than 800 people have been killed in retaliatory Israeli airstrikes in the Gaza Strip. At least 140 children have been killed there, and 4,000 other people have been injured. A coordinated and multi-pronged attack on Israel from the Gaza Strip, the Palestinian territory under the control of Hamas, has been almost 50 years since the Yom Kippur War in 1973 and shows a significant escalation in the long-term conflict between Israel and Palestine. The rockets were fired from Lebanon, which borders Israel in the north. Following the initial report about the launch in the north of Israel, approximately 15 rockets were launched from Lebanese territory. The Air Defense Array IAF intercepted the positions of 4 rocket launchers. 10 rockets fell in open areas since the beginning of the conflict with Israel. At least 200,000 people have been displaced in Gaza. Some of them fled out of fear, while the houses of others have been destroyed by Israeli airstrikes. Most of them have taken refuge in UNRWA schools. At least 2 of them have already been damaged in airstrikes in the region. Israel has cut off Gaza's water and access to electricity, food, and fuel has been cut off. Palestinians in Gaza do not have electricity for up to 4 hours a day. They disturb the injured. The Israeli army has gathered 35 battalions around the border with Gaza. Israel has targeted the Gaza Strip with airstrikes, and the defense forces have targeted about 200 targets in the Palestinian territories under the control of Hamas. Israel has also announced that the long-term siege in the Palestinian land will be intensified so that no food, medicine, electricity, or water will be allowed to enter this area. Early on Tuesday, the Israeli army announced that after Hamas's surprise attack on southern Israel, which was unprecedented in terms of scope and speed, it has regained control of Israel's Gaza border. Israel continues its airstrikes throughout the encircled territory of Gaza and ordered the complete cutoff of water, electricity, and food, and the impoverished and besieged population has exported about 2.3 million people. Hamas, which rules the Nawaz of Gaza, has announced that about 150 Israeli hostages are being held captive. It reverberated as foreign governments tried to determine how many of their citizens were killed and missing or needed medical help or a flight home. Many countries also offered to play a role in mediating an end to the conflict. They have killed at least 1,600 people so far. The death toll was expected to increase with Israel's attack on the Gaza Strip and Palestinians fleeing to UN shelters. 2 Filipinos have been killed as a result of Hamas militant attacks on Israel, where thousands of Filipinos live and work. The conflict between the Israelis and the Palestinians continues while the air and artillery attacks on Gaza continue after the Hamas attack on Israel. As a result of the fact that the war front is not only on the battlefield and tank cannons, but the most important part of the war that is going on in Palestine is the war of narratives. The war that is fueled by the media that defends the Israeli regime in order to make the Israeli regime a face of an oppressed regime and show the victim. In the meantime, the Israeli regime is trying to change itself with the main victim and oppressor of the war, the Palestinians, but history cannot be distorted. According to the latest official announcements from Palestinian sources, until the 5th day, the Israeli regime rained bombs against the Strip. In Gaza, more than 300 Palestinian children have been martyred. The Hamas movement, by publishing a statement while denying the killing of children by the Palestinian forces, described the Israeli regime as the main criminal and announced that the occupying regime through aerial bombardment and the firing of internationally prohibited rockets until at this moment, 1,055 Palestinian civilians, including more than 300 children and 200 women, have been martyred, and 5,150 other civilians have been injured, of which more than 1,200 are children and 1,000 are women, and dozens of medical personnel have also been injured, has been martyred or injured, and still dozens of citizens, including women, children, and the elderly, are dying under the rubble. The residents of Gaza have been killed and food and medical aid is being prevented for them. I will end the video here. Please like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel to support us.